Good morning. It is a Thursday morning. It is about 9:30 right now, PST. Got some smoke to talk about. We've got a heat advisory for parts of California, heat warnings for parts of California, increased fire danger, and this is going to be very, very warm. We're going into a period where we're going to see, especially in the interior valleys, temperatures into the low 100s, 105, 106, 107 maybe. Not out of the question. Doesn't appear to be record-setting stuff, but it's going to be hotter than it has been. And of course, that has its concerns. That's why there's heat advisories. And that just means drink some water, man. Like alcohol doesn't do it. Water or coffee. You got to drink water, and you got to start early, and you got to drink it all day. Especially if you're up in Red Bluff, Chico, Paradise, Orville, Sacramento, Modesto. Just you don't realize how much water you're losing. So that's one of the things to take away. And then on top of that, you've got this green fire and other fires, the Butler fire up in Northern California and Southern Oregon, that are putting out a copious amount of smoke. And in this morning, much worse air quality for the North Sacramento Valley and the foothills surrounding, even up into Bernie. This is the green fire. I saved this shot. This was yesterday. I just wanted you to, I thought this was fabulous, just showing how the smoke settles down in the morning, then lifts up, the fire breeze, and then you get that increase in fire spread. This area is incredibly remote. The fire, we'll check containment on it, but not a lot of containment on this fire yet because it is difficult to get at. And with these temperatures increasing and air quality, the fire crews that are getting in there, it's tough, man. It's tough when it's hot. It's tough when it's bad air quality. I mean, so we'll go look at that. This is the picture I show you often, which is Mount Tamalpais looking south towards San Francisco. Ocean Beach is down here. This is our built-in weather clue, right? This is our visual, hey, look, it's marine layer. I'm just going to say 1,000 feet right now. We're at 2,500 feet where the camera is. I'm looking down on the ridge line. That averages about 800 to 1,000 feet in Mill Valley. So that's about the depth of the marine layer. And you can see Sutro sticking through. That's also a good indicator. Can't see the bridge, which is 720. So it's just over the bridge pillars. But either way, tightened marine layer, warming trend. Simple and warmer and lessened air quality. No spare the air day today. Most likely, I think we'll see something from the Bay Area Air Quality Management District at some point as we go through this weekend. But it's going to stay hot. There's going to be it's going to be classic summer weather. San Francisco is going to hover between the upper 60s and the mid 70s. Not almost perfect in San Francisco, but right at the Ocean Beach, it's going to be pretty chilly. And in the Inland Bay Valley, it's going to be really hot. And everybody in between is going to have some variation on that. So let's put a loop on this. We've determined that just eyeballing it, going, hey, that's about 1,000 feet deep, the marine layer. Don't have any smoke here yet. Looks like it might be a little bit of smoke offshore, actually, huh? North wind's going to send that smoke and has sent that smoke in our direction. You'll see that coming up. This is the inversion. Here we are. I apologize that you can't see this. It's the way my stuff lines up. But over here on this side, this is 1,000 feet right here. That's 1,000-foot line. And so let me move this out of the way. See if we can. Okay. And so last night at this time, yesterday at this time, we were at, remember, 2,000 feet. And we looked at the live picture and the profiler, and we saw that that's where we were. All night, the winds started to shift north, and the inversion got shallower, really dipped out early this morning, late last night, and now it's opened up. It's about 1,100 feet, maybe 1,200 feet. This is at Fort Ord. This is our best acoustic profiler for the region, but you get the idea. Boom, it's pinched down. Boom, in this layer here where we exist, air quality's not so great, and that smoke is getting trapped, and all the particulate from auto emissions and factories and such getting trapped in there. So the air quality not so great, and you add the smoke from the fires, and you've got yourself kind of a hot day. I like this shot. It's the Farallon Islands right now. It's a live camera. The great hope with the Farallon Island camera live would be to see a puffin, But you talk about a shallow inversion, right? You kind of see it. I was watching it earlier. It kind of breaks through every once in a while. But you know where the camera is, up on the rock, not that high, down in the fog, say 800 feet. Ooh, bird went by. But that's how dense it is. So what's that mean? It means you got dense fog along the coast. Visibility is less, and there was a dense fog. An advisory of sorts up in the North Bay earlier this morning. That will be dropped shortly because the fog is pinched, man, and you can barely see through it. And that's how it's going to go. Here is the smoke. Here is the north wind, right? You can kind of see the wind coming down through the valley. So it's grabbing the smoke from the fires, from the Burton fire and the Green fire, and it's pushing it down into Redding, Chico, up into the foothills, up around Forest Ranch, areas, Mount Lassen, all these burning. So there's a lot of smoke. And these are fires that were started up in this area, up around Oregon and Northern California, like a week or so, over a week ago, for some lightning strikes and burning in very remote terrain. We have been fortunate in that we have not seen strong winds. There are some winds, but it's not crazy strong winds, which is very fortunate. This pattern, you get a big wind blowing down the valley, you're going to start to spread the fire. What you are spreading instead of the fire so much is the smoke. Fire is actually kind of burning back on itself a little bit. Here's the smoke from the Green fire, and you see it's all the way down in here. Air quality, not so great in these areas. You can see Salinas Valley has its fog. My friends, you guys down in Southern California, south of Santa Barbara into Malibu and down towards Laguna and San Diego, nice day, really nice day. Hot, you go inland, it's hot as all get out. Some smoke up around Vegas, some smoke up in here. And again, you just get the feel for this map being crucial in determining what the day is going to be like. We know it's going to be smoky as all get out up here. We know the fog is going to be right along the coast, just pinched. I think there will be clearing at Stinson Beach today. I think there will be clearing in Santa Cruz, especially on the north or the west side of town, up in here. And then you guys are all good. I think Lompoc and those areas might be a little tougher to clear, but there'll be some clearing. But again, very shallow inversion sets us up with a pattern like this. And the plan for the next few days will be more of the same, more heat, certainly. So this is the model. This is loop around us. You can see the ridge trying to build, and there's a little bit of a disturbance. So this is through tomorrow afternoon. So it's gonna be pretty hot. Friday. There's some energy in there, but there's not. The high pressure is dominating this region. You can see it bowing up and over, right? Kind of the ridge. This is the jet stream here. A little trough here, right? And all this under here, don't worry so much about all this, just background noise. But the real story is going to be that ridge, which hangs on pretty nicely and then gets kind of pinched right in here. So that's on Monday, Tuesday of next week. So right now, the heat advisory for parts of Northern California are in effect until, I believe, Sunday. We'll look at that. But this area here, that's the first real cooling is into Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday, and then that's significant cooling. That's on Thursday. Again, it's way down the road. So what did we just say? I'm just showing you a bunch of stuff, but the thing I want you to see is the ridge is dominating, and there's no real relief until right here, and that's Tuesday of next week, or Tuesday, July 16th. So down the road, 6 days. So we're in for some heat. And we're in for some fire danger, and we will see fires. We will see fires. One of the things I know, and you know, if you ever track fires, I get this all the time. But when I was working in television, we'd have a fire, and they'd be, "Well, I don't know where it started. Where's that fire? How did it start?" It's always right on the side of the road, man. You can tell. You can a flashpoint on a fire, especially in California with our wild oat, the dry grass. You can always tell where the fires start. Little nugget about the dry grass, by the way. This is one of my favorite little pieces. But prior to the Spanish missions being built in California, the grasses we didn't have the wild oat, which is that grass you see that burns like toilet paper. We had bunch grasses, native, organic, grasses that were spread out. You know how bunch grasses are, and they're not huge fire hazards. So think about, isn't that interesting? So the Spanish show up on the hooves of their horses. They bring this wild oat. And the wild oat gets spread. This is, how far back are we? 1700s, or when the first missions came in. and the wild oat spreads, and it completely changes California landscape. Isn't that interesting? I know. So, but prior to that, right? Because think about it now. I mean, it's like, it's tinder dry. So again, wild oat everywhere. When you track a fire, we'll have fire starts today on the freeway. And if you're driving on the freeway and you see a fire start, someone dragging a chain, or a catalytic converter throws a spark, or someone throws a cigarette, and that's going to happen. It's going to happen multiple times today. Just dial 911, or if you can get out and throw some water on it too, that'd be awesome. But you can call 911 and let them know what you see, because that's where most of our fires start. It's almost always, unless you have a good big lightning complex, it's almost always in the Central Valley and in the Bay Area. It's almost always a freeway start. So here are the forecast highs. I think we took it through. Here we go. This is the HRRR hot day. This is just today I'm doing. See the purples? Here we are at about 4 o'clock this afternoon, right here. So that footprint. So look at this. See, if you look at the little black box up here, you can see they're calling Redding today 106. They're going 102 down towards Red Bluff, Chico 99, Sacramento, a little cooler, a little bit of a delta breeze slightly, so 96 in Sacramento, and it starts to heat up as you go down the valley. 103 down towards Bakersfield, and then you get into these weird colors, right? You get into white. What the heck's going on there? Buck 17 out towards Palm Desert, 113, Vegas, 107. So big heat. Big heat, and that's going to continue for a few days. So it's summer. It feels like it. It's acting like it, and then we'll have the usual stuff. For heat concerns for elderly, unhoused, pets, please. Your pets can't talk, so they can't tell you that their feet hurt or that, right? So let's take care of that. This is that you've been here. If you've been, we've been here, done that. So just this is that hot week coming up. I'm not calling it a heat wave, but it's hot. Yeah, you could maybe call it a heat wave. Real heat wave, we'd have more heat warnings, but either way, it's semantics. Here are the forecast highs for today then. So Redding, National Weather Service out of Monterey says a buck 5, 101 down towards Marysville, 100 in Sacramento, 70 in San Francisco, 95 in, we'll call that Santa Rosa, Ukiah 101. My friends in Los Angeles, warm day, 86. Look at all the heat down here. So this is summertime. It's a summertime pattern. I don't see anything unusual here. This is tomorrow. It's going to be hotter. Look at Redding goes 110 degrees tomorrow. 103 degrees in Sacramento area. 105 in Fresno. 120 in God knows where that is. That's hot. I can't even imagine. Here is the fire. So we did weather. So what did we talk about? We just talked about, hey, listen, we're in it. It's going to be hot. Around the bay, places like San Jose are going to be in the low 90s. Places like San Francisco are going to be in the low 70s. Places like Concord will be in the upper 90s, low 100s. Places like Redding will be up over 105. Sacramento over 100. So it's just going to be that. That's tomorrow. That's Friday. That's Saturday as well. And then Sunday, it should start to trickle down a little bit, but we'll see. Here is the watchduty.org, the awesomest site ever for this type of thing. These are the different fires burning up in Northern California and in Southern Oregon. A lot of fires burning up in Southern Oregon. And then in California, you got the Butler Fire, which is a big one. That's 3,000 acres, 500 acres, the Summit Fire. And then the Green Fire, which does appear to be throwing off the most smoke, although it is being accompanied by those other fires. Green Fire still no containment, which is interesting to me. Let's see if we got a picture of it. Sometimes they throw a picture in here, which is nice. It's in a tough spot, man. I know this area well because we're looking south towards it now. But this is the ridge. It's basically the ridge between the Pitt River and the McCloud River. So I've walked all this area, and one thing I know, not a lot of homes in here, but there's a lot of terrain. And there's not a lot of roads in there. There's a couple fire roads that, I don't know every inch, but I've fished the bejesus out of the Pitt and out of the McCloud, and I've walked up from Balibaca. So I kind of know, I just know that area, and it's out by Big Bend, and it is hard terrain. So I know they're putting planes in there. It's a hot day. Hand crews are probably doing what they do. The winds aren't going to be a huge problem, but you can see the smoke that this fire is putting off. So let's take a look. We'll go here to watch our PurpleAir. This is interesting. PurpleAir's a hell of a resource because these are low cost sensors. You can get one yourself, and the map takes a while to populate because there's so many data points, and data points in the world of weather, huge. So these are data points that measure parts per million, micrometers. So when you're seeing, let's see, well, PM10, which is like dust, pollen, and mold, it measures that. It also measures PM 2.5, particulate matter 2.5, which is vehicle exhaust, industry, and smoke, industry output and smoke. And this is stuff, when you get down to 2.5 and lower, you're getting, these particulate can get into your bloodstream. They can get in and cause, your body can't defend against them. It just goes straight in. So people who are compromised have real problems with these higher particulate matter counts. And we got them. We got them big time. I mean, look at this air quality. This is how it looks in Chico today. A lot of purple, right? A lot of reds, and up in Paradise as well. So the smoke this morning really settled down out of the basin, down the drainage basins, and into Redding, and into all the way down the corridor, that Sacramento River, right? It just drains in the mornings when it's cool. So you can kind of see that. Westwood's got some up in Lake Almanor. Westwood's beautiful. You've got some better quality as well. So really, it's even impacting Lake Tahoe a bit. And we're starting to see some of that smoke enter into the Sacramento Valley. And then we can look further south, and you'll see, hope it loads up. This is Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, a lot of their particulate matter, I don't see a lot of smoke down there, but I do see a lot of cars. And so that's what most of their data is about. So those yellows probably representing car exhaust particulate. So here is Red Bluff. And so here's what Red Bluff looks like on PurpleAir. I'm big on making connections, right? Okay, so that's what the Red Bluff's all red. That's what it looks like. And you can see the inversion. You can see the blue sky above. So the inversion is taking this smoke and really hammering it down into the valleys. And it was nasty this morning. So that's Red Bluff. I think we can throw a loop on it. Let's try that. Thanks for hanging in. Loved all your comments yesterday. Thank you. Ooh, that's this morning. So that's, yeah, and you can see the smoke wafting in. And it's at a low level. It's typically fire smoke, on the right day, it's high, but this is right down on the ground. So air quality alerts, I don't know how they work it up in Red Bluff if they have an air quality management district. This is down towards, I think we're looking towards, let me check, I think we're looking towards Chico. Yeah, we're looking down from Butte Meadows towards Chico. So in this area, oops, I'm gonna do this. Okay, this is down towards Chico. And you can just see that it's really hazy and smoky. And you know what you do? You add 100 and some degrees to that, and you got yourself ridiculous amounts of uncomfortable conditions, right? When you can't see that far and the smoke's that thick and the temperatures are that hot. Here is the smoke that is lingering around the area. This is the forecast model. What I can do is let's stop it down. So let's see where we are here. This is today. No, this is tomorrow. Let me back off. Come back here. So this is essentially today, this morning, and you can kind of just see the smoke spread. And all over the state. That's the north wind. So the north wind's bringing that smoke down the valley. It looks like it wants to bring it all the way into San Francisco. Most definitely. Remember when I mentioned we were looking offshore, and I said, I think that's some smoke. One of the first cameras we looked at on Mount Tam. I think that is smoke. And I think this is how the winds coming out of the north are what's heating us up. It's also dragging that smoke down the valley. Okay, right? Awesome. A lot of things. Again, good day. It's a good day for looking at live pictures and looking at models and looking at real-time data like PurpleAir or firewatch2.org, because you can see the connections. And that's so super important. So you have some perspective the next time we have a red flag warning or a high fire danger situation, or all the different things. So, okay, extreme heat warnings down here, heat advisories in the deserts in eastern parts of Los Angeles County, heat advisory in Northern California, right in here, and you can see that heat advisory. That thing lasts. I think they're going to keep it up till Sunday. Is that right? Yeah, through 11 a.m. Blah, 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 blah. Heat advisory in effect from July 11th to July 13th. So a couple days anyway, and that represents a lot of area. I mean, we're looking at Ukiah, like Lakeport, Shasta Dam, Redding, Marysville, Oroville, and that doesn't mean. And up to that red area to the north is extreme heat warning. That's through the same period. But this doesn't, just because you're not under the orange, doesn't mean it's not going to be hot as hell, right? This is not, it won't take much for these oranges to drift a little bit south. So keep your eyes on that. There changes can occur. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Makes sense. We talked about it. It's going to be a little above normal. This takes us through the 19th. There will be some cooling we talked about on the 16th. And so that will begin this, if that'll begin sort of this more typical weather pattern. And then the rainfall, a little bit of southern moisture, so a little bit of monsoonal moisture getting into Los Angeles and San Diego and Arizona. But other than that, Northern California looks pretty dry. And this time of year, it's kind of nice to have Northern California dry because you hate to see the potential for lightning strikes. So pretty good day at Pacifica. Lindemar Beach, you guys, if you don't surf there a lot, or if you don't surf, or if you don't know, it's best on high tide because it moves up on the sandbars a little bit. It looks like it's a little bit low, but a good high tide would be good, but it looks pretty good. And the winds are light, but you can see, look at the density of that fog. I mean, it is really down on the deck. Here is Cardiff Reef. This is by the racetrack in San Diego. And you can see the marine inversion, which is, for those guys, it's probably about 1,000 feet too. Winds look favorable. Swell's not that big. And just a fun day. Nice day to be out on the water. Beautiful weather. Temperatures in San Diego today will be in the mid-70s. Here is, take a breath. Yeah. Heat warnings, increased fire danger, and air quality alerts. Yeah. So, I mean, it's summer, right? So you've been here before. And no matter what all the media inputs and all the social media stuff, this is what's happening, and this is where we are. So don't get caught up in too much like extreme heat warnings, or it's like, okay, here it's summer. It's summer. It is something to think about, but people throughout the history of California have always been aware of how hot it is in the summer months. Okay, Mount Shasta, watch the sun come up. You can see the smoke from the fires, certainly. You'll see the smoke tonight from the fires and the sunset, if you can see the sunset from San Francisco. But top of Mount Tam, it'll be a beautiful sunset, or up on Diablo, or up in the East Bay Hills. But you can see that smoke, right? Really, really nasty. So that's Mount Tam. This is, where am I here? Oh, I kind of fell in love with this shot yesterday. This is Mono Lake. And again, we talked about that yesterday. It's one of the most ancient lakes come on, Bill, in the United States. There it is, Mono Lake. And it's 760 million years old. Let me check. I can do this. I think I checked it yesterday. 760, no, not working for me. I wrote it down somewhere. 760, I think it's million years old. Anyway, it's an old lake, and they have Tufa Mounds. It's beautiful, and it's awesome. There's a lot of controversy around Mono Lake back in the day. It still is, because of the way a lot of the water that feeds this Mono Lake. Remember the old Mono Lake, say Mono Lake bumper stickers? It's because the seagulls and the white pelicans, and they use the islands out there. I can't remember the name of the island. It's not Wizard Island, but there's an island on Mono Lake. And there's absolutely no predators can get to you, right? It's kind of like the Farallon Islands in that the seagulls can lay their eggs and nest. And it's a huge place. It's a huge breeding ground. And so when they were to get water through the aqueducts down to Los Angeles, the whole Mulholland draining Owens Valley thing. Well, they started pulling water from, they're pulling water from this drainage basin and which was making the lake drop and increasing salinity and so on and so forth. So it's always been a point of contention. And I'm not even hip right now on the basic politics of Mono Lake right now, but it was a real sticking point because it was losing a lot of water, and it may still be losing water. I should look into that. But it's a flyway. Million birds a year use this as a place to nest, as a place to do what birds do, and there's a lot of them. Like if you're a bird watcher, right now, you know more about this place than I can ever convey. But it's an important ecological component. This is jellyfish cam. You go, why do you like this, dude? Well, I don't take mushrooms, but if I did, I think that's what you're looking at, right? I heard an interesting thing yesterday. I think Rogan had some mushroom guy on or something, and they were saying that it's like 20% of Americans have tried mushrooms. Like psychedelic mushrooms. Was it 20%? Yeah. 20%? Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Oh, it's a big change. I never have. I mean, that's kind of like mushrooms. I get kind of spaced out doing other things like this. Not awesome. Those dudes are from another planet, right? This is Monterey Bay Aquarium. If you've been, I'm sure you've been. If you've never been, you got to go. The only things I hate, and I'll move on to the puffins here, but when people tell you got to go somewhere, that move where when you go to Italy, you got to go here. It's sort of like, it's like, dude, I'll figure it out. Or you could say, hey, you might like this place. But when they say you got to go, it's almost like, dude, don't, I don't know. You kind of like discovery is part of the fun of travel. Okay, so mushrooms or jellyfish. Fish, isn't that awesome? We got one today. Look at the bear. I wonder if that's our friend. He's just sitting there. Okay, now how awesome is that? These cameras, I mean, the only thing I wish is the camera could be better at Brooks Falls. In other words, it's got a lot of breakup you can see. I mean, it's still awesome. I mean, he is just going. First of all, he's not cold. I mean, how cold is that water? And he's just sitting there. He's been sitting there for a while because I checked before I came on. I checked it. Awesome. Wow. Okay, I got to roll on because I'm running out of time. Good bear stuff. I don't have good puffin stuff, so let's stay on the bear. Okay, so we covered everything. It's going to get hot. It's going to be summer. There's heat advisories in Northern California. The air quality is a thing, especially up in Redding and Chico and Red Bluff. And, that's my hometown area up there, so I really pay attention to what they're doing. And it's going to be... I want to see him catch one. It's going to be smoky tomorrow morning again. Remember, nighttime, early mornings really smokes off. Okay, come on, grab one. Apparently, you guys know this, but apparently there he goes. Nice. I mean, I'm sorry for the fish. Well, he just dropped it. It's amazing they can do that. Okay, I got to roll. You did see him catch that, right? All right, thanks for hanging in. I don't know. Just tell a friend. I love doing this. You guys are awesome. I like to grow the channel because I'm competitive, but I love doing it anyway. So I'm going to do it. But tell a friend. Be sick. Okay. Take care.